I hired a marketing company, I would say, a few years ago, who kind of did some stuff for my website, but he's not specially geared for HVAC. So I don't even know how to gauge on the SEO if it's working or not, or
Yep.
how do I even gauge that?
That's a good point. Hey, would you mind if we actually pulled up some stats on your, like, we can just look at your website right now and actually show you exactly if you've been doing something. James, did you want to pull up address, or could you let James share the screen, and what is your, maybe I'll type into the chat here too so we have it. What is your domain, or what's your website?
So it's Thermodynamics LLC, and I'll spell it for you. It's THERM as in Mike, O, D for David, Y, N for Nick, A, M for Mike, I, X, LLC.com.
LLC.
James, the SEO wizard with the beard, is going to love this. James, introduce yourself. I just loaded it up and I see a lot of things that can be fixed here. James, what do you say?
I want to make sure I got this right.
Share the screen. Just make sure that you have it. That's easiest.
Yeah.
Funny, we actually have
the wrong URL
we have another company that we deal with in Texas called US Thermodynamics. Same.
It's, you know what? It's a pretty common name, and we've had that business name for about 15 years now, and 2 other companies in my area popped up with the same name, but they spell it differently. They spell it with an ICS, and we've been around a while, and they've been grabbing a little bit of our marketing. So I've been actually went to a lawyer regarding it, but they said I have no ground because it's spelled differently.
Dean, who's on this call in the Detroit area, went through the exact same issue as somebody trying to move into their turf. But you protect yourself usually through a state name registry, and that's where you can go after somebody. You might still have some recourse there, but maybe, I don't know, with the state possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm second generation. My father started the company. I've been in it about 16 years now. He didn't do any of the marketing. So kind of when I came on full time as a partner, maybe, 6 or 7 years ago, I started, driving the digital marketing for him. He always thought it was a waste of time and a waste of money until I started doing things for him here and there. And then, sales have actually doubled and tripled over the years. Yes. So it's been pretty great. I tried to do some things on Facebook on my own. But to be honest, I'm not that great at it, and I have no idea what I'm doing. It's a little confusing. Some campaigns that my other marketing guy does, I just don't know if he's not geared for HVAC. He has a multitude of other companies like barbershops, this and that. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly it. There's a million different things. Mike, maybe just unshare and then James will share his. That's the thing. You get so spread out and everything. It's very a lot of you can get a bunch of leads for air filters or whatever else, but it's not worth anything. So
there's no S in it.
Yeah,
that's it right there.
Okay, so what this tool does, it tells me a little bit about the links that are pointed to the site and gives me information as to how it's ranking or whatever. And then I'm just gonna load the site. Because with SEO, the stuff I do, it's there's 2 parts to it. There's what your site, the information that's on your site, and then the links that are pointed at your site. So the on-site and off-site. And give you an example, sometimes it's just a matter of the on-site just isn't done well. That's a client that I was working on today, and I had I knew that their on-site just had to be changed. And by on-site, I mean there's certain words in certain places that Google looks at to get information about what your website's about. And so actually about an hour ago, I was playing around with it and submitting it to Google, and these are the results of what I was doing. So for example, and again, I just tweaked it for a little bit and still got some work to do on it, and submitted it. So air conditioning, Dallas, Texas, 140 searches per month. Shot it to number 7 pretty quick just by changing some stuff on.
Maybe just explain what that means,
sure.
What those rankings mean.
Yeah, so this here, if we go column by column, the keyword here, if this one here, if we use this one, air conditioner, Dallas, Texas, or even AC installation, Dallas, Texas, that's the keyword. That's what people are searching for. And then this column here is where it's ranking in Google Organic. So if I do just a search, like a general search for, AC installation, Dallas, Texas, where Google's showing it for that one is number 2. And then lifetime is showing how much it's changed. So before I did the changes, I ran it and it wasn't even ranking at all. That's why if you add these two numbers, it's 2 plus 98 is 100. Anything 100 and above is actually meaning it wasn't ranking before. So this shot from nowhere to number 2 for AC installation, Dallas, Texas. It's probably floating around a little bit, depending on where you're searching from in between 2 and 4.
Dallas is a tough market. There's a lot of competition. I mean, every market's tough, but Dallas has got to be, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 HVAC contractors targeting the one area. So.
Yeah, so this one I'm still working on. I got to do some stuff with the ones down here, but this one here, I could tell by the links that were pointed at it that I could probably do some on-site and make it move pretty quick. And then looking at yours, there's a few different areas that I look at. Number 1 here, I'm looking and I can see you don't really have very many links.
I guess one of the questions is the other person, can you tell if the other person has been actively working on it or if there's anything done to it?
Are you saying that you have somebody that's actively doing SEO for this?
Yeah.
Okay. They're definitely not doing anything. Because the number 1 thing is that you have to have links pointed at a site. And with only 2, that's probably ones that you just picked up naturally and not that are built for you. And you can't really rank without links. So I'm just going to go back to the links here.
We should explain the overview too, to show kind of a comparison of one that's ranking versus one that's kind of not.
Yeah. That's nothing there. That's not going to help you at all. I'm just going to go to the overview here. And so I know for whatever reason, Steve really likes this number.
No.
But
I like the organic traffic number. The organic traffic number, it's a good estimate. So basically the 6 number is the one that's interesting because that probably 20% of the people call you. So you're generating probably maybe 1 or 2 calls per month, very rough numbers from the website. And we can show you any one of your competitors that you want us to pull up, and we'll show you what happens if you keep pushing on organic for the long term. So,
yeah,
and then after this one, we're going to run a comparison on another site for a client here. Thanks, Liz.
So like referring domains is this here, and that's how many links are pointed at your site. You got to ignore this one because it's per domain. So with how many websites are pointed at your site, and then how many keywords you're ranking for. And I would bet that a lot of these are your branding, like your company name. Well, you got some here. Get HVAC Westchester. So you got some here that are going. Okay, let me just look at the website itself.
Maybe as he's pulling that up, what's like a big competitor that you?
Steve, give me 1 second because he's about to go over the headers, and to me, this is one of the best parts. So we'll get right there next.
Yes.
Sure.
Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again. So just to be clear, what would be the biggest city in your area? Like the biggest city near you? Would it be White Plains?
Yeah, we're about 2 minutes from White Plains.
And then what would be the biggest city that you service?
Probably White Plains, I would guess, or Rye would be the closest to ours. White Plains is definitely going to be the largest, I'm guessing.
Definitely. Just to interrupt James a little bit more, because I need to. One thing I can see is I don't see a White Plains page.
Well, but if we're looking here for Westchester, I mean, there's enough searches here. You could target Westchester as your main one right now. And then have different pages for it. But that would be definitely something you'd want to do, is you could have pages dedicated to the different cities or towns in the area that you want to target. But looking at this, if I'm just looking based on Westchester, right here, this tells me a little bit about your site and what's like when you think about Google coming to your site. It's not some guy sitting at his computer and looking at your site and trying to figure information out. It's just a stupid computer bot that goes through and it knows words. It doesn't really care about pictures or anything like that. It just looks at this and wants to know words on your page as to what this site is about. And there's very specific pages that it looks at, because the content here, anybody can come in and add content. You can tweak your content all you want, which is in Google's eyes, like, who cares? Because I can go on here and put a whole bunch of content information about, G.I. Joe toys or whatever you got. You can put and it doesn't really care. What it cares about is what you're telling them the site is about. And the main areas, if you think about it being like a college paper, is your page title right here, and then your headings. So if you think of a page title and you have it as you're like, okay, this is what your title of your paper is, what the paper is all about. And then you've got your different section breaks, and you can have like those sections telling, okay, what this section's about. and it all has to relate to HVAC. So for example, here you got best HVAC services, Westchester, New York. That's actually not too bad. I'd want to do a little bit more over here to get, because you want to stuff this with as much information as possible without going overboard. So this is actually not too bad of a title. I'd want to tweak that a bit. Headers itself, you've got a floating H1 that's probably around, I'm going to guess it's probably around your logo here. H1 is your next most important spot, and you've got a lot of information here for it to look at. So it's looking at this going thermodynamics, HVAC, and attic air sealing. It's a lot of words for it to pick up on and try to figure out what you're about. I'd want to get super targeted with this and almost like right away hammer it with something like, Westchester HVAC. That's it. That's all I put. Or even Westchester, New York HVAC, so that it looks at that and knows what it's about. And then if you look at all these headings, you got HVAC sales there in H3. H2 is your next most important thing. Again, here you got way too much information about who you are instead of what it is that you do. Because you want to draw people for what you do, not for who you are, because they don't know who you are and don't care who you are. They want to know what you do. So for the H2s and everything, your H3s, this is where you key in on as to knowing what to do for your site. And there's specific ways that we go in here and tweak these and have it so it says the right things in the right ways to make your site rank. But that's what I'm seeing here. The on-site's not horrible. I'd want to fix that. Where you're really lacking is that you do need links pointed at your site, and you just don't have it.
It has two, and is that basically, Carrie, can you see any competitor that we can just pull up just for like a side-by-side comparison of what?
Yep. James, can you put this one in for Ahrefs? And Mike Y, and I apologize, I thought you were Mike E to begin with. Have you heard of Yost and Campbell where you are?
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't mind, James, can you put in this one?
Yeah.
Yost, Y-O-S-T, and Campbell, or Campbell.com.
Yeah?
Yep.
Or is it
Yost and Campbell, yes.
Okay.
So what this is that I did a little bit of search here to see who the #1 website was if somebody was doing a search for AC repair, Westchester, NY. This was the one that came up at the top. So James can explain the difference here and why it's there.
It's also just to cut for just one second. It's also kind of why it's important. So it's like their overview says they get about 400 people per month for free. It doesn't cost them anything to this Yost and company, coming to this. So the net result of that, they probably get about 100 phone calls, maybe 80 to 100 phone calls for free, costs them nothing. That calls them just because they're stronger with their website. So the goal is if you build up your website, you make it stronger, you're going to get a lot more free calls, which is the gold standard of what you're trying to do with your marketing. So just a quick overview.
Hey, Mike, have you ever heard of Clover Cool?
Yes.
I think that might be a better example. And I think it's a highly relevant example of what I think it would be a better to show them exactly what it can drive them as well. That might be one you want to check out as well. Clover Cool added to the.
Again, okay, so here's their headers. Let's look at just on the on-site. First place you want to look is the URL, but they've just got a generic branding URL. Then we look at their title, and their title right out of the gate right there, Westchester County HVAC, rate targeted, general contractor, AC and heating services. They've got a lot of keywords in there, which is nice because they're all relevant keywords. If it was a page that was just about air conditioning repair, I'd want to have this a lot more targeted, but this is just their homepage, so it's a generic page. Headers, if we look at the headers, this is a little bit long, but look at everything that's in here. Houston Cable Heating, Cooling, Westchester County, New York, Heating and Air Conditioning Company, H2 Heating Services. Look at this, air conditioning service, indoor air quality services. It's all very targeted as to what they do. Another one here where it's a little bit of a longer term, signs of needing an AC repair. You can see all the terms in here that are related to HVAC. Bang, 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 all the way there. So that's good, just looking at the homepage alone. And then if we look at the backlinks here, they've got 56 websites that are pointed at theirs.
And this is what whoever's doing the marketing currently should be doing if you're paying for SEO, but they're not doing. So this is an example.
Yeah. This is the big thing, is that if they've got a lot of these, some of these are what are called citations. And this is stuff that I'd be attacking as well. But they've got a lot of ones that have to do with what they do. A lot of links that are pointed at their site about heating and cooling, which is good. And that's the stuff that we'd want to do. That's why they're ranking.
And again, normally if we're working with the clients, we just kind of take this over. I mean, this came up as a question, so it's kind of good to go over it, but we just, whatever it is. So if we're running the website, we'll just run your website for you. We'll just take over it. restructure the whole entire thing. It's you know, it is the long game, but at the end of the day, it's kind of an important one. But what was the other one that you saw there, Mike, that was super strong?
Clover Cool. It's not even super strong, but I think it's better results for numbers of how long they've been doing it and the results they're getting right now.
I want to come back to that one.
That one first. Yeah,
Les was asking about that.
You know what? Somebody else asked about that one. Maybe we should touch on the Northern Comfort SS just to look them up there. We
need to answer Jarrett's question as well too.
Yeah. Maybe we should just finish up with Mike here. Any more questions you have, Mike?
No, you guys hit on some good stuff.
Yeah, the big thing here with SEO to remember, and a lot of people see SEO as a dirty word sometimes too, because there's been a lot of companies out there who are less than reputable in saying that they do SEO or really understand it. It's essentially if somebody's looking for your city plus service or a service you provide in your area, you want to be on that first page of Google search results and preferably as close to the top as possible. So it's something we've done a lot with. In our previous company, James and I helped a business in Las Vegas to go from nowhere to #1 for anybody looking for air conditioning there. So we know it works, and we know that it really starts driving traffic to a website when you get to those top spots.
So what qualifies as SEO directly? Is it when somebody's searching for something and then automatically your website pops up in the search bar?
Here, I'll show you this. This is the one I was looking for the Northern Comfort. I did a search for furnace repair, Phillips, Wisconsin. And this is the organic, this is SEO here. So this is what happens when you do a search. Anytime you come in here and you look at, I gotta redo this because my Google's got this panic on about stuff that they're changing by the end of March. What was it? Furnace repair, Phillips, Wisconsin.
So the search that James is, sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say the search that James is doing here is like if people don't know your business name, they don't know who you are, they have a problem with their furnace, they have a problem with their air conditioning, they're going to go to Google and do a search like this to find somebody in their area to fix it or install something new. So this is what's happening is that when somebody's looking for this, this is the search result page that they're going to get.
Yeah, and so right away you can see that they're #1 for that and #2. And they've got furnace repair. I specifically took that one because if you look at their page title, it's right there. And then they've gone just with branding there. It's not even a super strong title. Really, really bad on site.
Back.
Well, but overall, they're doing decent on their overview.
Yeah.
James,
I'm trying to see here. Yeah.
I was just going to say, just show Vegas because this is a pretty small city in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I just wanted to see this one and
just quickly on the overview because this is somebody on the call and they just asked about their site specifically here. So
yeah. So they again you can see they've got these links here that are the citation type ones that are the starter ones. We come out of with a little bit more powerful ones after this, but again, same idea. They've got some decent links and they've got the on-site is good, just good enough to get them to rank.
And then there's still, and yeah, like what James is saying, they don't have anything done in terms of headers, H1, H2.
Yeah. Why don't we unmute him and get him on the call, see if he has any questions? It would be LES and CSS.
Yeah. Yep. Mike, thanks so much for your question here as well. So
you unmute Les there?
Yeah, I'll unmute with. So Mike, if you got any other questions, you can feel free to send me something in chat or we can reach out to you to do some more as well. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. I'm just going to.
Can we move to Jarrett's question?
Well, we got to let Les on here first.
Oh,
hey, Les.
So sorry.
Oops. I'm just going to see if I can.
Hello.
Hey, Les. I'm Kerry.
Yes.
Go ahead and ask your question here in case anybody didn't see it in chat.
Well, the question I had is just to check out how the website was ranking. And you guys brought it up. I appreciate that. It was my main question is to see how our website is put together and how it's ranking. And sounds like that for what we're paying, if we were in a competitive market, I would have to step up the game quite a bit.
Yeah, without knowing the area, like just looking at the website itself, there is some work that needs to be done. But yeah, if you're in a bigger market, there'd be it's got a good. I mean, the site looks great.
Yeah. Let's just a real quick
visually
question.
cool looking site.
Yeah. What would be the biggest city in the area?
The biggest
it's on my
one
axis.
close would be, either Park Falls. That would be in the county, Park Falls, or Phillips.
Okay. Looks
That's
like
a
you have
good
a park.
point you said, Les. So like the bigger your market, the more perfect everything has to be to make you,
Right.
because there's more guys doing things right. But you got a lot more wiggle room in a smaller market to still.
Uh-huh.
I recognize this. I've dealt with some sites from online access before, and this here is really, really not the greatest idea, because you can see all the different areas that they're just throwing in there. Whoever's done this. Northern Cover Emergency Situation for Athens, Wisconsin, Dorchester, Wisconsin, Gilman, Wisconsin. That's trying to make this homepage rank for all these different cities, when really you should pick the ones that are the largest ones in the area and have dedicated pages for those. It looks like you do have some here.
There are dedicated pages, but it looks like they're trying to rank the homepage even more. Just for
Yeah.
a quick example, is that would be something you would do back in 2009 for SEO.
Yeah.
But what happened is Google caught on to it,
Uh-huh.
and well, they caught on to you, James. If you go back to the bottom of the homepage there, not that one, just the homepage.
Yeah. Well, it's the same idea going on down here.
Yeah. So they caught on to when you stuff, what is called is keyword stuffing. And what it is when you, if you scroll down to the bottom there, just for an example.
Yeah.
When you put so many keywords in one spot, that's what we call keyword stuffing. And what happens is Google sees this as spam. And sometimes you'll get these messages in Search Console, which is one of the programs from Google, that they'll put it as pure spam. They do not like this. They caught on to it at around, what was it? I'm too young for it. Kerry, when was it?
It was somewhere between about 2011, 2013. They really started clamping down on that.